What is the function of esophagus? Main function is conduct food from oral cavity into the stomach. No, from pharynx, more better, from pharynx into the stomach. Esophagus consists of three parts. Cervical part, pars cervicalis. It starts at the level of C6. What is C6? Six cervical vertebrae, yes. To T2, second thoracic vertebra. Then thoracic department from second thoracic till 10th thoracic. And abdominal department, that is the shortest part of esophagus in abdominal cavity, from 10th to 11th thoracic vertebra. And at the level of 11th thoracic vertebra, esophagus insert into the stomach. Cervical, thoracic, and abdominal part. In cervical department, which organ is in front of esophagus? Help me. What is in front of esophagus in cervical department? Trachea. Yes. Laterally, common carotid arteries, and laterally vagus nerves. Nervus vagus, common carotid artery, laterally, in front trachea, and posteriorly vertebral column. Then, in thoracic part, at the level of fourth thoracic vertebra, arc of aorta, arcus aorta, attached to esophagus, in front of esophagus. Then at the level of fifth thoracic vertebra, in front of esophagus, we have left main bronchi. Trachea subdivides into right and left main bronchi, bronchi principalis, and left main bronchi, bronchus principalis sinister. It's attached to anterior wall of esophagus at the level of fifth thoracic vertebra. Then, in lower mediastinum, in lower part of thoracic cage, heart is in front of esophagus together with pericardium. Vagus nerves, nervus vagus, that is 10th cranial nerve, pass laterally from esophagus, and in lower thoracic department, left vagus nerve goes to anterior wall of esophagus, and right vagus nerve goes to posterior wall of esophagus. And in abdominal department, on the right side from esophagus, we have liver, on the left side, spleen, and some lymph nodes surround abdominal part of esophagus. External coat of esophagus. Esophagus consists of mucous membrane, muscular coat, and adventitia. External coat, that is adventitia. But in abdominal department, external coat of esophagus, that is peritoneum. That is a serous coat, peritoneum. And peritoneum supplies three walls of esophagus. That is why it has mesoperitoneal position. Mesoperitoneal position of esophagus. Mucous membrane of esophagus has longitudinal folds, plica longitudinalis. They help to conduct food into the stomach. And esophagus has 5 constrictions, 5 narrow places, 5 constrictions of esophagus. First constriction in the beginning, in place where pharynx continues into esophagus. In the beginning, pharyngeal constriction. What is the level? Which cervical vertebra is at the level of pharyngeal constriction? 6, usually 6, sometimes 7th cervical vertebra. Next constriction, in place where arcus aorta attached to esophagus, because high pressure of blood in aorta attached to esophagus and makes constriction at the level of 4th thoracic. Next, at the level of 5th thoracic, where left main bronchi attached to esophagus, we also have constriction. Next constriction in place where esophagus passes through diaphragm, that is diaphragmatic constriction at the level of tens thoracic vertebrae. And last constriction in place where esophagus insert into the stomach, that is cardiac constriction. It is at the level of 11th thoracic vertebra. 5 constrictions, but all of them subdivides into anatomical and physiological constrictions. Anatomical constrictions we can see only on the corpse. Oh, sorry. Anatomical we can see everywhere, on the corpse and in living men everywhere. But physiological constriction only in living men. On the corpse, physiological constrictions are absent. For example, aortical constriction, it is physiological. And because high pressure of blood only in living men. On the corpse, there is no pressure of blood in aorta. That is why there is no constriction on the corpse. Aortical constriction on the corpse is absent. The same like cardiac constriction. Because in place where esophagus insert into the stomach, we have sphincter. On the corpse, this sphincter relaxes and there is no constriction. Physiological constrictions are aortical and cardiac. These two constrictions are physiological. All another anatomical, pharyngeal, bronchial, and diaphragmatic. Well, next time you need to know departments of pharynx, departments of esophagus, topography. If we speak about skeletotopia, what is it? That is topography of inner organ, how this inner organ corresponds to bones. Skeletotopia. For example, pharynx start from the base of the skull. Nasal part of pharynx is opposite to first and second cervical vertebrae. Oral part of pharynx opposite to the third cervical vertebra. And laryngeal part from fourth to sixth cervical. That is skeletotopia. In esophagus, cervical part from C6 to second thoracic. Thoracic part from second till 10th, and abdominal from 10th to 11th. That is skeletotopia. Syntopia, that is how inner organ attached to another inner organs, nearest organs. You will answer that in cervical department of esophagus, in front of esophagus, trachea, laterally, common carotid arteries, vagus nerves, posteriorly, that is prevertebral fascia, fascia prevertebralis. What is in thoracic cage, what is in front, what is laterally, what is behind. Please. Constrictions, topography of constrictions, that is, you need to answer next time. And oral cavity, teeth, salivary glands, and palate. Only not necessary to read abdominal cavity. Abdominal cavity not necessary. Last organ, what you will answer, that is esophagus. On Wednesday, yes? On Wednesday. Today, that is all. Have you got any questions?
Sir, what about the thyroid isthmus?
Isthmus, that is fauces, that is opening, and space between arcus palatoglossus and arcus palatopharyngeus, that is isthmus of fauces. Isthmus or isthmus of thyroid, isthmus of what?
Thyroid.
Thyroid. Sorry. Isthmus of thyroid gland. Thyroid gland consists of two lobes, right and left lobe, and between them we have isthmus. It is joined right and left lobes of thyroid gland. But we will speak a lot about thyroid gland together with respiratory system today.
What is the connection between the foramen cecum?
Okay, foramen cecum of the tongue and isthmus of thyroid gland. Yes, in time of development of fetus, we have duct in normal duct, and this duct closed. It's replaced into connective tissue, and in adults, in newborns, it is absent only in time of development of fetus. Yes, that is a duct between foramen cecum on the tongue and isthmus of thyroid gland. Yes, isthmus, that is part of thyroid gland which join together right and left lobe.
Thank you.
Okay. Something else? Today that is all.